Hello, my name is Flora O'Mahony and I am one of 4 senior conservation architects working in the National Monument Service of the Office of Public Works. As you have seen from the video, the Heritage Service section of the OPW manage and present a wonderful array of sites right across the country. So during the coming week, you will meet many other people who help present and interpret these sites, and I'm going to talk to you now about the role of the conservation architect. I will tell you what we do on a daily basis and how we go about planning and executing what can be complex and unique tasks. Work on national monuments is operated on a geographical basis. The country is divided into 6 regions, as you'll see here, and generally speaking these are the northwest, west, southwest, south, southeast and northeast. Each district has a team of professional and technical staff, and we, together with an operational staff of over 300 operatives, are responsible for the care and protection of the monuments in each district. All the professional and technical staff working in national monuments are based in our office in Dublin or our headquarters in Trim, where we are managed centrally and work collectively with all the other disciplines that feed into our work on a daily basis. Our administrative colleagues are based in Claremorris in County Mayo, and the team of professional and technical staff of OPW staff members normally consist of a senior architect, and an architectural assistant, each grade having a particular role and set of responsibilities to ensure that all skills and experiences help the smooth delivery of our works programme. The OPW also run the RAI OPW Architectural Graduate Training Scheme, and so we sometimes have the opportunity to bring on board and mentor recent graduates with a recognised qualification in architecture to become part of the team. This is an opportunity, I guess, for the graduate to obtain practical work experience for 3 years to prepare for their professional practice exams. I work as a senior architect for the southeast or the Kilkenny district, which is the area you see here in beige, which is an area of the country that includes the southern half of counties Kildare and Wicklow, the northern half of County Tipperary, the eastern half of County Waterford, and all of the counties Carlow, Laois, Kilkenny and Waterford. Therefore, my job is split between undertaking office-based tasks in Dublin and carrying out site inspections and overseeing works in the region itself. The major area of work of the National Monument Service involves the preservation, protection, maintenance, conservation, management and presentation of over 750 national monuments in state care. Of those 750, I am responsible for the care and presentation of 123 monuments, together with 15 visitor services sites. National monuments in state care range from the Neolithic period, which are over 5,000 years old, to structures that have been built in the last 100 years. There are examples from every period and classification. So, for example, the kind of structures I would work on could be simple field monuments such as Brownshill Dolmen in County Carlow, a portal tomb with one of the heaviest capstones in Europe, weighing 150 tonnes. Knockrow Passage Tomb in County Kilkenny, a very unusual Neolithic passage tomb that has 2 passages that align with the rising sun and the setting sun on the winter solstice. Then I am responsible for sites with building remains, such as the one here, which is the extensive ruins of Dunamace Castle, or perhaps better known as the Rock of Dunamace in County Laois. St Mary's Gorn, County Kilkenny, which houses some of the most finely carved effigies in the country. A major part of my work is at sites with substantial remains, which are often those you will find with visitor centres and a guide service, such as at Ormond Castle, County Tipperary, one of Ireland's finest Elizabethan manor houses. Or the great Cistercian Abbey, Tintern Abbey in County Wexford, founded by William Marshall in 1200 and home to the Coakley family for over 400 years. And then I work on structures that would not immediately be thought of as national monuments, like Dwar McAllister Cottage, a traditional thatched cottage in the Glen of Amal, County Wicklow, important due to its historical association with the famous shootout there during the 1798 rebellion. Or Dunmore Caves in County Kilkenny, containing some of the finest calcite formations found in any Irish cave. On an annual basis, the senior architect devises a business plan that is agreed at top management level, and this sets out our programme of works for the year ahead and the budget available for each job. These jobs would be medium to larger scale projects where large interventions might be needed, such as Major structural consolidation, rebuilding or stabilisation work, such as this job here at Kells Priory, County Kilkenny. Over the past decade, works have been undertaken throughout the Priory, but in particular at the Crossing Tower, and more importantly, the Prior's Tower. Works here include major masonry repair, restoration of stone features, roof construction, carpentry work such as windows, doors, and so on. Our more recent work here involved the bridge tower, which for many years has been hoarded off for safety reasons. This ruinous structure needed to be stabilised and made safe, and so to ensure that no further losses would occur, we encapsulated the tower in an enclosed scaffold and began to carefully remove any vegetation. For the past 2 years, we have been raking out and repointing hundreds of square feet of masonry walls and consolidating the battlements, grouting the masonry core, flaunching wall tops, repairing or replacing lost or loosed face stones, reconstructing window heads, reveals and sills, and the stitching together of some very large cracks running down the face of the walls. A lot of our work involves the electrical, mechanical, fire and security upgrade of sites to make our buildings safer and more comfortable for both guides, staff and visitors. Previous programmes of work down through the decades at Ormond Castle had brought this structure back from dereliction, but in recent years problems with damp penetration were found to have damaged the mechanical and electrical systems and compromised the remaining historic plasterwork. So the works here included the complete upgrade of mechanical and electrical installations, upgrading of the fire and security systems, installing a lightning protection system as well as underfloor heating. Not to forget the upgrading of existing storm water services and sewage systems, and the removal of cementitious pointing and render, together with the consolidation and conservation of historic internal plasterwork. Lastly, the project saw us refurbishing the visitor and guide facilities, and not to forget the display of historic furniture and the provision of exhibitions. Visitor facilities form part of our work, and we undertake projects to improve facilities, to make sites more accessible and to make the visitor experience more enjoyable and safer. This might include the building of a car park, the provision of new trails and footpaths, and the erection of more user-friendly gates and stiles. We upgrade visitor centres like we did a few years ago at Tintern Abbey, which you see here, by refurbishing the reception, guide canteen and offices, but also the public tea room. We also construct new visitor centres, or in some cases have restored a national monument to become a new visitor centre, such as at Nenagh Castle. Here the ruinous 90-foot high tower was but a mere shell. The project involved archaeological excavations, surveying and scanning, the building of a 16-lift scaffold. All material was craned in over the top of the tower. Floor beams, floors and stairs were inserted. Repairs were undertaken of embrasures, sills, jambs, arches, and bronze windows inserted. We then designed and constructed the new visitor reception at ground floor level, provided exhibition spaces on the first, second and third floors, and finally designed a new rooftop viewing platform to provide the visitor with panoramic views of the town and countryside beyond. In the cases of the types of projects I have just shown you, I, as senior architect, would assume the role of design team leader and manage the design team from project inception to completion. Depending on the actual project, it might also make it necessary for me to assume the role of employer's representative and administer construction contracts for these, including supervision of site construction, agreeing final account, managing client handover and the defects liability period. Due to the interdisciplinary nature of construction, we in the National Monument Service would draw on in-house expertise from our mechanical and electrical engineers, structural engineering and quantity surveying colleagues, while not forgetting the support we receive from our National Monuments colleagues in the Department of Housing, Local Government and Heritage. When undertaking a major structural stability project of one of the few remaining examples of a medieval bridge in Ireland, Cadamstown Bridge, County Offaly, we were able to draw on the expertise of our in-house structural engineering colleagues and work with us on a project to save the bridge from collapse. They were able to advise on the structural propping of the structure in advance of works, but also advise on the necessary masonry stitching, the stabilisation of the wall faces, and so on. But we were also in the very lucky position to be able to obtain the expert skills from our in-house engineering colleagues from Flood Risk Management, who came on board to culvert the river beneath the bridge by building a dam and allowing us to undertake the structural underpinning of the abutments and the anchoring of the bedrock. But then there were issues that required expertise from outside the organisation, such as an arborist and tree surgeon who cut down the 15 trees growing out of the structure before we began the works. The skills of a specialist scaffolding designer were also required, as well as steel manufacturers who built our steel frame that was inserted to prop the arch and also acted as a crash deck. Archaeological testing and monitoring was undertaken by an archaeologist. Scientists undertook mortar sampling and dendrochronology testing. Ecologists were hired to study and advise on the protection of the flora and fauna growing on and living within the bridge respectively, and the expertise of geotechnical engineers to also advise on issues to do with soil retention, piling and anchoring rock were procured. All these various trades and professions are brought together by the architect. It is my job in this instance to seek and tender and procure each service provider, coordinate their work and act as the overall project manager in a sense. Other areas of expertise we often draw on are wall painting conservators, decorative plasterwork conservators, building environmental experts. I guess the role of the conservation architect is often about being able to identify the expertise required and knowing exactly where to get that expertise. The other major part of my job is the programming, planning and monitoring of maintenance works at the 123 monuments in my area. All this maintenance work, together with the vast majority of our major projects, whether it be conservation or restoration, are carried out by our own direct workforce, and this is the thing I love the most about my job. I have the privilege and the honour to work with, in my case, 44 members of our workforce based in our depots at 3 locations in the southeast. Our depots in Kilkenny, Roscrea Castle and Tintern Abbey. We have a workforce made up of 7 forepersons, 5 charge hands, 2 carpenters, 5 stonemasons, 3 stone cutters, 17 general operatives, 1 craft gardener, a storekeeper, clerk in charge, and 3 apprentices. I, together with the district works manager, who plays a vital and pivotal role in the organisation and running of the depots, and in turn their 4 persons who oversee the skills development of this team. The OPW and National Monument Service is a vital part of Ireland's culture and its economy. Iconic sites such as the Rock of Cashel, Skellig Michael or Newgrange, as well as hundreds of others, tell the story of who we are as a nation, but also provide a strong foundation for economic growth. The provision of traditional skills can make an important contribution to the delivery of economic growth through employment within the construction sector. The National Monument Service has an important role to play in protecting and enhancing our historic environment for future generations, and so we cannot adequately achieve this without the appropriate knowledge, skills and materials to conserve and maintain our traditional buildings. OPW is one of the largest Irish employers in the sector, providing training and employment through its conservation teams across the country. We also support an apprenticeship scheme in partnership with Solis in the fields of stone cutting and stonemasonry and carpentry and joinery. This apprenticeship consists of 4 on-the-job phases with us as employer and 3 off-the-job phases in an educational organisation, which is a minimum of 4 years in duration from the date of registration. On successful completion of the OPW apprenticeship programme, the apprentice is awarded a QQI Level 6 Advanced Craft Certificate. Because we have our own workforce, it is equivalent to running a small construction company. A huge part of this work involves ensuring health and safety is a priority at all sites, depots and sub-depots. And we, the senior architects in National Monuments, would act as safety managers as well as taking on the role of PSDP Health and Safety Coordinator where required. The senior architect role includes the management of the financial procedures, financial planning and reporting of the districts, as well as ensuring that all relevant legal obligations, whether that be building regulations, health and safety regulations, that all these are complied with. As the presentation of our sites is an important element of the job, the architectural team undertake the provision of interpretation and signage at sites. This includes the delivery of exhibitions, interpretive material and all types of signage from directional to site information to health and safety signage. We also aim to contribute to national policies and relevant local initiatives relating to such monuments and sites. We sit on local heritage committees and cross-partner with local authorities and other interest groups to progress projects at local level and support local heritage initiatives. When time permits, the senior architect may get the opportunity to do some writing for relevant publications, magazine articles, and press releases. When required, we might partake in radio and television interviews, give presentations, lectures and talks. We provide information in relation to freedom of information requests, parliamentary questions and ministerial briefings. Other elements of the job include advising OPW visitor services and OPW in general in relation to architectural conservation and health and safety issues relating to applications to host events on OPW managed sites. I have been asked to talk to you today about my role as a senior architect within OPW's heritage services. So for the most part, I have shown and spoken about projects that I have personally worked on and have been involved in. However, it is very much worth noting that I am just one of 4 senior architects carrying out this role, and our staff in the South East are part of a 300 strong workforce nationwide. So I would like to acknowledge all the hard work and dedication of not only my team in the South East, but to all the senior architects, past and present, our professional and technical staff, our administrative support, our district works managers, their team, and all our very talented and skilled loyal workforce who have done and continue to do such great work in caring for all our national monuments. We have included 2 links along with this post. If you would like to find out more about the history and sections of the OPW or the Heritage Services section in particular, just follow the link.